presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'm calling to order our Tuesday meeting for November 27, 2012. We will open with invocation by Commissioner Holberg and the pledge. I'll lead the pledge myself.
Please rise. Let's bow our heads. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just, to the best interest to everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion, consider a motion to amend the agenda.
Make a motion to amend the agenda to add item 17 to put under presentations to delegations, recognize the proclamation acknowledging the World AIDS Campaign theme for World AIDS Day 2012, working together for an AIDS-free generation.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve amending the agenda to add item number 17. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Okay, under presentation and delegations, recognize the City of Griffin's Fat, Oil, and Grease program for receiving the Program of Excellence Award 2012 by the Georgia FOG Alliance.
The Fogmaster.
Brent.
Good evening. How y'all?
So he need the glasses.
I get the distinct privilege tonight to introduce two executive officers with the Georgia Fog Alliance. I've got it. Thank you. Jennifer Brandon and Xavier Davis. They are the review committee and on the executive board of the Georgia Fog Alliance, and I'll let them make the presentation on behalf of the Georgia Fog Alliance.
And again, I'm Xavier Davis, Vice President of the Georgia Fog Alliance, and this is Ms. Jennifer Brandon, Secretary of the Georgia Fog Alliance. It is our distinct pleasure to provide the City of Griffin with this, the Georgia Fog Alliance Award, and as it reads, the Georgia Fog Alliance presents this award to City of Griffin for excellence in fats, oils, and grease management, Program of the Year, category from 0 to 250 grease interceptors in 2012. The Georgia Fog Alliance has been around since the year of 2001 for 11 years, and City of Griffin is also one of the founding members of the Georgia Fog Alliance, and our goal is to promote and enhance the reduction of fats, oils, and grease in our communities. On behalf of the Georgia Fog Alliance, we'd like to present the City of Griffin with this award.
All right. Take your time.
As a caveat to that, I would like to remind you that in the early 1990s, we used to get consents in the neighborhood averaging around $30,000 to $50,000 a year. Since the inception of our FOG program, our consents are less than $5,000 a year. So obviously, I think something worked, and Doug's worked really hard at making all that happen. The second, we have two other awards. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. Go ahead.
Okay. Recognize the City of Griffin Water Distribution Assistance Outstanding Operations Award for the category of 1,000 to 50,000 customers, awarded by the Georgia Association of Water Professionals 2012.
As a board member, executive board member on the utility council for GAWP, I'm here to represent GAWP this evening to present the City of Griffin with the program Outstanding Operation of the Year Award for water distribution. To give you a little bit of information about our system, and I know you've heard it before, but for the public, This is Danny Pryor, who is the Superintendent of Collections and Distribution, and Mr. James Beasley, our Deputy Director for the Water and Wastewater Department. Danny's responsible, his group, for over 640 miles of water mains between the city and the county, and has the opportunity to fix those on a regular basis. He has responsibility for over 2,500 valves, over 26,000 meters in the system. We have 2,700 fire hydrants in the system between the two. He is also in charge of leak detection in that program, backflow prevention, and the other significant thing that I want to note Danny for is that his group volunteered with a little effort on my part to save the city $750,000. We are installing our own AMR meters, so the course of the life of actually putting them in, by the city of Griffin putting them in, we're going to save in labor almost $750,000. But Danny works hard. His staff is really, you're in the rain. Danny and I spent about a month ago in the mud and the rain with a main break on 16. We're working and striving every year to get better and better, and this year Danny's group was successful in getting this outstanding operation plaque for medium-sized system of 10,000 to 50,000 customers. So on behalf of GAWP, myself being the director of the department, I want to say thanks to Danny for his hard work, and Mr. Beasley's leadership, and as a caveat, as you all know, Mr. Beasley will be retiring this year after 37 and a half or 38 years of service to the city of Griffin. So there you go, Danny. It's all good.
Okay, next we want to recognize the City of Griffin's Wastewater Collection System Excellence Award from the Georgia Association of Water Professionals, 2012.
Once again, on behalf of GAWP and the Executive Council, we would like to present the City of Griffin. We just missed this year getting the Program of the Year. We got the Service Excellence Award for water wastewater collection. Let me give you a little information on that. Danny's group, again, is responsible. They have 225 miles of sewer main, both high pressure and gravity feed. We have 4,600 plus manholes in the system, a lot of manholes. Danny started the TV and cameraing program for the city of Griffin of the sewer system and the implementation of the software program so that we can maintain the system. Danny also was responsible, since I've been here, putting in the chemical root control program to clean the lines of grease and also roots. And he's also in charge of I&I, but he'll have a new charge with his new boss this year to step that program up a little. That's inflow and infiltration. But on behalf of GAWP and the council, we want to present the City of Griffin with the Silver Award for Excellence for their wastewater collection system.
Thank you. I'm going to move this proclamation up. Okay, next we want to consider, recognize a proclamation acknowledging the World AIDS campaign theme for World AIDS Day 2012.
Chair, I move that we approve the proclamation.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Joanne's going to read it.
Okay.
Do we have someone here to accept the proclamation?
Yes, we do.
While he walks up, she can sign this.
All righty.
It's in recognition of the World AIDS campaign theme for World AIDS Day 2012, working together for an AIDS-free generation. Whereas AIDS and HIV infections continue to have a global impact, with an estimated 33.4 million people living with AIDS or HIV infection, while over 25 million have died worldwide. And whereas AIDS and HIV infection continues to be a priority health concern in the United States, with over 1.2 million Americans living with HIV infection and an estimated 50,000 new HIV infections occurring yearly. And in Georgia, which is ranked 6th highest in the nation for cumulative reported number of AIDS cases, there have been 40,328 reported cases of HIV infection since 1982, with an estimated 2,000 newly diagnosed cases each year. And whereas in Georgia, adults aged 30 through 49, African Americans, and gay men continue to have higher and disproportionate rates of HIV infection. And whereas the World Health Organization established World AIDS Day in 1988. And whereas in recognition of the fact that impacting the global epidemic requires a renewed and unified worldwide, national, and local efforts, the World AIDS Campaign theme for World AIDS Day 2012 is Working Together for an AIDS-Free Generation. It aims to reduce new HIV infections, discrimination, and AIDS-related deaths. And whereas the fight against HIV infection and AIDS will only be won through increased advances in equal access to HIV prevention, testing, treatment, and care for Georgia residents, and they are encouraged to educate themselves about the risk of HIV, know their HIV status through testing, get care if infected, and demonstrate compassion for those infected and affected by HIV and AIDS. And whereas Lovestruck Incorporated was established in 2012 in Griffin, Georgia, to assist in reducing the stigma associated with HIV testing through education and social awareness, and has successfully partnered with the Spalding County Health Department to provide almost 100 free tests to Spalding County residents. Therefore, we, the Commissioners of the City of Griffin of the State of Georgia, join in the recognition of the World AIDS Campaign theme for World AIDS Day 2012, Working Together for an AIDS-Free Generation, and encourage all citizens to support and participate in this worthy cause. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this 27th day of November 2012. Cynthia Reed Ward, Chairperson, and attested by Kenny Smith, City Manager. Ryan, we appreciate you coming, representing Lovestruck, and we thank you.
Thank you.
And present this. Are you going to get a picture? No.
Good job.
And we might add that this is a project of Cora Flowers, who is one of our Griffin City Commissioners.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And I apologize for the proclamation being so wordy. It was.
Okay.
Needed to be, I think.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, next we'll move into citizen comment. At this time, the chairperson will open the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. Your chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or the staff for resolution. Is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and address the board at this time? Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay. We'll move right into our public hearing. Receive comments regarding request to rezone approximately .24 plus or minus acres each located at 726 and 732 Meriwether Street from planned commercial district to medium density residential.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Taurus Freeman, Planning and Development Director. This is a request by the applicant to rezone the property from its current planned commercial district to medium density residential. These properties have been within this district has been vacant for several years and therefore has lost its grandfather status. Several lots along this corridor was part of a blanket rezoning done several years ago. Staff has reviewed the request, and even though it does not comply with the future land use map or the comprehensive plan, staff recommends approval, as well as the planning and zoning board recommend approval of the rezoning to allow the property owners to lease their property for residential use. As it currently sits, because of a down economy, they have not been able to rent the properties out for commercial, so we feel as though the best and foremost use would be residential at this time.
We had a similar situation we talked about with the gentleman on North 12th Street, and we directed him that he needed to, that we would not consider rezoning his property from a similar situation it was about a month and a half ago. Why is this property any different than North 12th Street that's in that same situation?
This is a request by the property owners.
But your recommendation to him to us is approval, where when we talked to this other, you and I sat down or talked with this other gentleman on North 12th Street on a similar situation, we recommended him not to.
Maybe I can help y'all a little bit with that, Doug, because I live near that property. And first of all, it's an eyesore. And then second, it's a security issue. If somebody was living in those apartments, in those houses, it would be a lot more.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying we talked to a gentleman on a similar situation that wants to turn a commercial property, or it's a house that was used as commercial, into residential, and we told him, we leaned against him doing that, but here we're doing the direct opposite on a similar situation. So,
and I don't recall that conversation. However, if the property owner does wish to go through the process, we allow them that right.
Is staff going to recommend a similar situation for us to change his zoning?
Well, every rezoning has different circumstances, and we base our decision on those type of circumstances. In this case right here, the property did have a blanket rezoning several years ago, and the property owners were forced, per se, to go to a more planned commercial development type zoning classification.
We did it also on Experiment Street, same situation. We did
right, and we've had several occurrences of that since my tenure here, where I've seen some properties that had the blanket rezoning that the property owners are wishing to go back to the original or the previous zoning classification due to the down economy. So
this is another one of the infamous blanket rezoning where we messed up zoning all over the city. This is one of those. Another one?
Yes, it is.
I don't think we're ever going to get through these.
But this is a commercial corridor where, same as Experiment Street.
That house is for rent. What you talking about, Doug? That house is for rent now. What you speaking of? So I don't know what happened, but it's for rent.
It can't be rented as residential.
The one on 12th Street?
And the reason
I'm
why
just giving examples of 12th Street, Experiment Street. The staff has had a position of not recommending rezoning, and here we are now recommending rezoning from commercial to residential, and just want to see which direction staff's going to take in the future.
Well, this is all residential in here, at this particular location.
Yeah. And a lot of these structures, even though they are zoned PCD, a lot of them are still residential. But however, for these two lots, they have been vacant for longer than 12 months, so therefore they lost their grandfather status. The other lots have remained occupied, so therefore they were able to keep residents there, whereas this one would only be allowed to have commercial type uses, such as offices.
Well, having been a victim of that citywide rezoning and messed up, great sympathy if anybody was victimized by that thing.
We need to distinguish between the circumstances where you're a victim and the circumstances where it was intentional. I mean, I'm not sure I understand if this was one of those that was caught up in it, or if this was intentional where the plan was.
I think each time the city has rezoned, you've given the proper due process notification. So I don't know if people are victimized. It may be they had notice and just failed to act upon it, and later decided when they got to really looking at it, it was not a wise move on their behalf.
But do we look at Meriwether Street the same way we look at Experiment Street? Is it an emerging corridor that we want to change with the housing authority's redevelopment plan going on in that same vicinity?
And that's one of the reasons you did rezone properties in the past, was you're trying to give the incentive to the property owners to redevelop those properties for another type of use.
That's why your future land use map hasn't identified as commercial corridor, because at some point, somebody made a decision that in the future, that's what you wanted it to be.
I remember several years ago, there was a big discussion for trying to change properties on Meriwether to, industrial or planned commercial and all of that kind of stuff, and it hasn't really materialized. And we have those people out there that would love to have some of those buildings cleaned up that are further on down beyond Hammond Drive on out toward the bypass. So I support this because I think that it will improve the situation there. And it is in the district that I serve. And so I thought, well, I don't know when the blanket, we've done so many code changes and rezoning since I've been on this board. I can't tell you what properties we've rezoned and not rezoned. It's been a constant issue, and we had hoped the new code system would take care of this, but I guess we still have things that
you haven't rezoned any individual properties when you adopted the UDC. That simply was just a new ordinance, well, a reformatting of really what was your existing ordinance.
Yeah.
And that's why is staff taking a different position in the future from what we've been doing as a staff has been recommending denial on these situations.
Yes, we were
over the last several years, and now we're looking at changing that direction. So all of a sudden we open up a situation where these folks that we've denied based on staff recommendation coming back to us saying, well, over on Meriwether Street you changed your mind. We need you to change your mind on Experiment Street.
Well, staff, if the staff recommended, that still does not, the final decision is
correct.
to
I
us.
understand that.
So all they're doing is giving a recommendation. They're not really making a decision. The decision is when we vote on it.
And we will look at each situation differently.
And what did the Planning and Zoning Board?
They recommended approval.
They recommended approval.
Are these houses up to code?
Yes, even though they have been vacant for several years, still they are not required to have any type of CO because CO has already been issued. We have contacted the property owners and stated that we would like for our residential inspectors to go through and actually inspect the structure and see if there are any modifications that need to be made. However, and they agreed to that. The property owner has not made any type of interior alterations to the structure, nor have there been any exterior alterations.
If we were to go on the last housing survey that was done, what would these two houses be on that survey? And as far as the condition, would they be in the whatever's above deteriorated?
I think so. Just by looking at the structures, they look pretty sound. The property owner has done quite a bit of maintenance to the structure, so it has never entered onto our substandard housing program.
Okay.
So appearance, they have been well kept. The property owner has shown a willingness to do whatever is necessary regarding our codes and regulations.
Do they live in Griffin? Are these Griffin residents?
Yes, ma'am, they
Spalding
are.
County residents?
The owners.
The owners.
Fred West. Fred West. Fred West. Fred West.
Yeah, I
Can't
don't
remember.
recognize the
Yeah.
name.
I don't know them.
Well, I have not,
And the houses next to it are still residential?
That is correct.
Okay, because they didn't vacate long enough to have the status?
That is correct.
Okay.
So they're zoned commercial, but they're still grandfathered residential.
That is correct.
So I understood, okay.
yeah.
Okay, you said they lost the residential status because they were vacant for a year. Is that what
That
you're
is
saying? So they're having it, okay.
And at that time, the property owners actually intended to have some type of commercial development there. They tossed around several different ideas, such as maybe a thrift shop or an office. However, with the economy being the way it is currently, they cannot find a valuable use for the property except residential.
Okay. Okay, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone else from the audience on the board that would like to have something to add to or on this issue, now's the time to do so.
Right, I think that probably, not in relation to this, but Doug has raised a situation that perhaps we should go back and look at and find out when we did this on the North 12th Street property. I can't recall it at this time when we did it. So, you know, if there is some inconsistency there, I think that probably we might need to go back and know why we didn't do it. Does that make sense?
I didn't hear you, sorry.
All right, Harry. I said maybe we could go back and look at North 12th Street and figure out why we
Well, I'm
did it.
curious what he's talking about.
I don't remember it.
I don't think it came before the board.
I don't think it did either.
Staff discussion.
Staff discussion.
Yeah.
The whole bird and toy.
Okay, because I'm.
It wasn't, no, but based on the staff discussion with them, was that we would not, this board would recommend not, staff would recommend not rezoning that compared to.
Oh, so you're talking about staff.
Staff, not
Okay.
this board, the staff
Okay.
told this gentleman that we would not recommend changing from residential or from
Gotcha.
commercial to residential, and here we are 2 months later, doing exactly what we told him we wouldn't normally consider doing, and that's my.
Torres makes the point that circumstances with zoning, each individual parcel has to be looked at under its own circumstances and facts. And that gentleman, if he wants to file a zoning application, a rezoning application, certainly has the right to do so, just because staff tells him they may not favor it.
And
Doesn't mean that
That's what he
he
told him,
can't
right,
come
but I mean,
before this board, he may get a different result.
Understand. Fine.
Which happens quite frequently. But okay, all righty, next we'll, consider approval of the minutes of our regular scheduled meeting on, November 13th, 2012.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands.
I'm gonna recuse myself, I wasn't here.
You weren't here either?
I'm a recusant.
5-0.
5-0.
5-0.
Okay,
You were here.
I can't remember that far back.
okay. 5-0 to.
I know I was here.
Yeah.
Okay. Regular agenda, consider, request to rezone approximately .24 plus or minus acres located at 726 and 732 Meriwether Street from planned commercial, district to medium density residential.
I move that we approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-1. Okay. Consider a demolition agreement between the City of Griffin, the Housing Authority, and the City, and the Spalding County Land Bank Authority for the demolition of substandard structures.
Can I ask a question too?
Yes, sir.
When I was going over this, I was a little confused. They're gonna pay us for all this, we're just gonna be the contractor, so we're made whole on the cost of doing this. Is that what I understand?
That is correct. This is an agreement with what we call our housing council, which is the City of Griffin, the Housing Authority, as well as the Land Bank. And we are hoping to eliminate and reduce our substandard housing stock by the acquisition and subsequent demolition of these housing units. We all have certain roles to play within this agreement. The city role is to do all demolition and all the costs associated with that, which really is zero for us because we're using our own labor to just demolish these structures. We also provide a demolition packet to the Housing Authority as well as the Land Bank, stating before and after pictures, showing the demolition permit, things that are needed for their records. Now, the Housing Authority and the Land Bank, they are required to do all pre-environmental assessments, such as asbestos, lead-based paint. They're supposed to do all that prior to demolition. And that's something that's regular, routine, and when pulling a demolition permit, you have to show proof of those. So they will do all that, and the cost, then they will have the cost of doing all disposal fees. So all tipping fees, they will have to pay those costs as approved by you all for that.
Okay, so we're only out the actual demolition labor,
That's all.
trucking, and they pay all other fees, and we're doing it with in-house labor.
That is correct.
Okay, so there's a modest cost involved, that's all.
That is correct. And one other fee that the city will take on is we'll waive the demolition permit fee, which is $50.
I didn't hear that.
The demolition permit fee, which is $50.
Oh, okay. Madam Chair, I move we approve this agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval and award bid to Garland DBS Incorporated for the repair of the Harry Summer Water Plant in the amount of $210,117 for the Public Works and Utility Department and amend the budget accordingly.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
What's the other 150 gonna be used for?
Rollover.
Will you kick Ryan?
I'm sure it will be good.
Okay. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a professional service agreement with H&H Resources Incorporated for the floodplain model update and FEMA map revision from the Public Works and the Utility Department.
Make a motion.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of an F-350 one-time pickup truck from Speedway Ford in the amount of $40,068.72 for the Water Wastewater Division. Declare surplus unit number 859 for advertisement on GovDeals and amend the budget accordingly.
Madam Chair, I move we improve the entire process there.
I said,
I have a motion and a second to approve.
Surplusing and amending.
Is there any further discussion?
Why do we have these staggered throughout the year? We have these things like every meeting, what versus just at one time?
Good
Gotta
question.
wait till we get the money to pay for it.
Cash flow.
Cash flow issue? Okay.
All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of F-250 one-time pickup truck from Speedway Ford in the amount of $36,282.72 for the Water Wastewater Division and declare unit number 878 as surplus and advertise on GovDeals.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the purchasing, surplusing, and advertising, and we have 2 minutes difference in cash flow.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of a used 2007 Sterling AT9523 tractor from Peach State Truck Center for $39,450 for the use in the Solid Waste Division Transfer Station.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion.
And make note of the savings that he got
Amen.
there.
That was the deal.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0.
Frugal Phil did it.
Yeah.
Consider a proposal from Net Planner System Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $37,889 for the fiber optic cable labeling, testing, and certification.
Madam Chair, I move we approve, but I have a question here.
second.
I couldn't figure from reading this where we're running cable and what this is about.
We're going through and labeling the entire network.
Labeling.
Yes, we have to identify the endpoints, the start points, the endpoints. There are certain there are certain locations where we have cables going, but we need higher technical...
We don't know where they are, where they stop, where they start?
We inherited this building, and there are cables that have been laid down in this building, and we need to find the termination points and the start points.
So it's all within
Yes.
this building?
Within this building and throughout the city, yes.
How long is it gonna take to accomplish?
I don't have the time. I know that we have a not to exceed on that.
So this is basically just paying for labor
Yes,
for it to
labor and their assistants come in and do this.
okay.
And then they're gonna give us a full analysis and a report of what we have.
And then it will be forever marked so we don't lose them again? Is that-
Correct. Well, we've installed our network, and what we've installed, we've identified.
Well, why do we need to know this? If it's not, if we've already got our network
Because we
going?
do have some remote locations that are hooked up, and there are other cables that are going out there, but we don't have everything cataloged. We need a complete inventory of everything that we have.
They could be going to the enemy somewhere in Atlanta.
Could be going to Spalding County.
I know what, it's messing up the smart meters. That's what it's doing.
The first phase of the goal we've had the last 3 years to connect the police department and the 911 center at Spalding County so we could have that fiber connection to get that data back and forth from the PD to 911. But before we get to that phase,
Yes.
we've got to make sure what we have already in order for that connectivity, and I think Mr. Bosch had a comment.
And
just as you know, we have numerous different types of fiber throughout the city. We have single mode, multi-mode, and we have a lot of opportunities citywide. We just try to make sure what we can do, what we have, and then there's going to be extra opportunities for fiber offerings and different things that we can do in the future. So we got to start with the groundwork to make sure what we have and where we can go with it.
And to add to that, the good point here about the 911, before we make any connections and finalize any network opportunity with 911, that circuit needs to be secure and nothing can intrude. So we've got to make sure that that's been locked down. And this is going to get us to that point.
Okay, cool.
So phase 2 is the difference up to that 95,000? Is that what we're
Yes,
looking
this is
for a
phase
future-
1, and then phase 2 is the other part, yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did we vote on this?
I don't think so.
Okay. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Consider one-year lease between the City of Griffin and Mercy Stevens for Suite 524 in One Griffin Center for $7,890 per year, $657.50 per month.
I mercifully move that we approve this.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands.
Yeah,
7-0.
Adam.
Consider a one-year waiver of late fees and reconnect fees for utility customers with delinquent accounts who pay all past due amounts and bring their accounts current during the month of January 2013.
I move that we approve. And I assume you've given this to the news media? But you plan to? Okay.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of an allocation of funds from Griffin Spalding County Hospital Authority to the Spalding County Board of Health for flu shots in the amount of $14,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Mr. Smith, you have
I
anything?
just wanted to congratulate him, extend appreciation to Mr. Schwab and the Finance Department for the work on the audit. I think they did a great job through a stressful time with the audit, and it shows that we're in a sound financial position, and I appreciate the work there. Just a reminder about the Christmas activities on Saturday, and I need a count of golf carts, please, by tomorrow. And a reminder of the dedication of Southern Crescent Medical Tech Building on Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Jim, if we do the golf cart, can we do the candy too, or we
Yes,
have to do
sir.
one or the other?
The golf cart is just a ride, and you can do the candy at the park before and after the parade.
Okay.
I will be at the parade, but I will not drive a cart or throw candy or give candy. I know that makes y'all happy since that's my most
I don't
favorite
want a
thing to do
golf
as a
cart.
commissioner.
No cart, no
No,
candy.
throwing the candy.
I'll take candy. I don't want a cart.
Right.
Nothing.
I'm gonna come through their line and get my candy.
No golf cart.
They think it's a little bit too cold.
It's kind of boring to ride on the golf cart if we're not passing out candy. Nobody
is.
really wants to do that.
No golf cart.
Throw out cash.
No.
I want candy. You want candy? I want candy.
No candy.
No,
Okay, I'll take all of that candy.
and you're gonna be at the park,
Mhm.
6th Street, good deal. You can
I
get
might
all-
ride in the parade, but I don't want a golf cart. I'm not riding a golf cart.
No
No,
golf cart.
Well, what time does the park start, at 5:30?
5:30.
And then, how long does it take for the end of the parade, to get to the end of the parade?
Oh, it's probably gonna be,
Right.
It's gonna, the parade didn't start till
6:30. Start.
So somebody gonna be standing in the park passing out candy at 8 o'clock?
there'll be more
We got
people
lights.
there to get candy than watch the parade. I can promise
We
you.
got
Right,
lights.
but if you're in the parade, then by the time you get to go pass
It'd
out
be
the
packed.
candy.
You gotta light the tree.
Listen, at the Hope Health Clinic, our children's dental program is overloaded. We don't need to throw out any more candy.
Hey. I don't want any candy. I'm gonna pass. I'm not gonna be standing in the park at 9 o'clock at night passing out candy.
It's over at 8.
Mm-mm.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything?
Candy lady, go for it.
Right.
You have anything, Sharon? Ms. Morrow?
I went away for 2 weeks of vacation, first time in years and years and years. And let me tell you, there are a lot of cities around this country and others that are a whole lot worse shape than Griffin. So I think if you go away, you come back to this little town and appreciate what we have here. So I suggest everybody, they go travel around Central America and come back and be extremely thankful.
We'll see it, we'll see it.
You have anything to do?
I've already said that.
Right.
I was gonna ask if all those awards, if Brant kept the plaques in his office, or if we display those in customer service. I know we talk a lot about all these awards here, and these are pretty top-notch, first-class selected things. I hope we, promote them and just stick them out there for everybody to see.
Try to pry them from Dr. Keller's cold hard
I
hand.
figure he's hoarding them.
We can make him colder.
I figured he just had like this portfolio in his desk, and he just looks at them himself whenever he feels it.
Okay.
Nothing.
You got anything?
Mm.
No, I don't have anything.
Make a motion, adjourn.
Second.